Hello, good morning, Gr.6. I hope you are fine and you hope everything is okay with you at home. Today I'm gonna demonstrate for you a new lesson. It's culture. This lesson you'll find it in your books on page 31. Guys, what is the culture? Culture is set of beliefs, values, and practices a group of people have in common. Culture is everything that we practice, everything that we believe, and we value, and we all have it in common. Like what? Like what, guys? For example, everything in day-to-day life is part of our culture, including language, religion, clothes, and music. So language, religion, clothes, and music, food, all these are parts of culture. For example, we speak the same language in Egypt. Most of the people speak Arabic. Yes, we have different religions, Islam, Christianity, and so on. Clothes, we mostly we're like each other, music and food. So each one of these is part of culture. Day-to-day life is part of culture. People everywhere share certain basic culture features such as forming government, education, children, and creating art or music. However, people practice these things in different ways, making each culture unique. So, each society has people inside it. These people share parts of culture like language, religion, clothes, music, and food. Not only this, they also share some cultural features like forming government, education, or educating the children, and creating music. Of course, each society has different parts of culture. In Egypt, we speak Arabic. In France, people speak French, and so on. Alright. We have something else called culture traits. What are the culture traits? It's activities or behavior in which people often take part. Alright. Any activity or any behavior we all take part in, it's culture trait. Like what? Like language, sports, food, clothes. Each one of them is a culture trait. It means language. What is language? It's a culture trait. Why? Because we are all speaking one language, or each society, each people speak some certain language. People share some culture traits but not another, but not others. For example, people eat using forks, chopsticks, or their fingers in different areas. So culture traits, guys, it's activities or behavior people or in which people take part, like language, like clothes, like food, all these things. Of course, also it's different from a place to another, from society to another. Culture traits are different. Like we said, the way of clothes, we will find, as I told you, for example, here in Egypt, in some places like in Upper Egypt, people wear galabaya. In other places, people wear suits, and so on. The way of eating, that's a culture trait because it's behavior, like using forks or chopsticks, and so on. So now we know what's culture and what is the culture trait. Culture is a set of beliefs, values, and practices a group of people have in common. Give me an example for each, some parts of culture, day-to-day life, language, food, clothes, all these are parts of culture. Or with other way I can say each one of them is a culture trait. Alright, what is the culture trait? It's any activity or behavior in which people take part. As we said, the way of clothing, the way of eating, each one of them is different according to difference in people and difference in society. Culture group. We have culture groups. It's thousands of different cultures in the world. People who share culture are part of culture group that may be based on things like age or religion. Culture region. Region, it means what? It means place or area. It means place or area. So what is the culture region? It's area in which people have many shared culture traits. For example, Upper Egypt is a culture region. Why? Because people in this place, Upper Egypt, they share one culture trait. It's the way of clothing. And they also have their own accents, Arabic accent, and they also share the language or the accent. The same idea about the religion, the same idea about the lifestyle. So what is the culture region, guys? It's a place or area in which people have many shared culture traits. A country may have several different culture regions or just single regions, such as Japan. In Japan, all the people have the same traits exactly. But here in Egypt, we have many culture regions. We have in Hurghada here, for example, a lot of people from Upper Egypt, from Cairo, from different countries, from Russia, from Germany, from the United States, from England, from all the world. So we have here in Egypt different culture region, and each region has its own culture traits, or the people share culture traits. Alright, there is something else called ethnic group. Ethnic group. In one region or in one culture region, like Hurghada, we will find group of people share the same religion, tradition, language, and food. Alright? So what is the ethnic group? It's a group of people. Ethnic group, it's what? Group of people. What they do, they share the same culture traits, or they share the same religion, tradition, language, or food. Cultural diversity is having variety in culture in the same area, exactly as Hurghada. When I see cultural diversity, I always remember Hurghada, our city. Why? Because we are all having here variety of culture in the same areas, which is Hurghada. It can create variety of ideas and practices, but it can also lead to conflict. So guys, cultural diversity is a very good thing, because it has a positive thing, because it leads to variety of ideas and practices. But also at the same time, it can lead to problems, troubles, conflict. These differences in culture might lead to we will not understand each other, then we will have this conflict. And also, if we start to understand each other, we will make new ideas, new way of life, new lifestyle, because we're gonna share our culture traits. So again, guys, what is the cultural region? Region, it means place or area in which people have many shared culture traits. That's the cultural region. Give me an example. Alright, Upper Egypt. Ethnic group, group of people who share the same religion, tradition, language, or it means the same culture traits. Give me an example. People of Upper Egypt. Cultural diversity, having variety of cultures in the same area, like Hurghada. This has a positive side and a negative side. The positive side is that it can lead to a variety of ideas. The negative side that it can also lead to conflict. Alright. Cultures are constantly changing. They can change through the development of new ideas or contact with other societies. New ideas such as the development of electricity, motion pictures, and the internet have changed what people do, how they community. When two cultures come in close contact, both usually change. For example, the Spanish and Native American cultures change when the Spanish conquered parts of the American. So here the cultural change happens all the time when people move from a place to another. When the Russian people or German people or Egyptian people go to another place, to the United States, of course they will not stop practicing their cultural traits, and this will affect on the people of the United States. Maybe they will like these cultural traits, like they will like our food, they will like how we clothe, so they will start to do as exactly as we are doing, and that will make a change. Alright, cultural diffusion. What is the cultural diffusion? It's the spread of cultural traits from one place to another place. It can happen when people move and bring their culture with them. New ideas and custom, such as baseball or clothing style, can spread. Yes, exactly, it can spread from one place to another, and that's very normal. How? For example, we are here in Egypt, and we like to listen the American songs. When I was your age, I liked so much Michael Jackson. However, Michael Jackson is not Egyptian, he is not Arab, he is American. That's cultural diffusion. People also like to study about Egypt, like to know about the pharaohs and about pyramids and all this. That's also kind of cultural diffusion. So guys, that's the whole lesson. It's a very easy lesson. I'm gonna quickly now revise it all with you. Guys, what is the culture? Quickly, what is the culture? Culture is set of what? Set of beliefs, values, and practices people have in common. Alright? That's culture. Culture trait, activity or practice in which people often take part. Culture region, I told you, culture region is a place. I give you an example like Upper Egypt. It's an area in which people have many shared culture traits. Ethnic group, it means a group of people who share a common culture traits. Cultural diversity, having variety of culture in the same area, like Hurghada. It can have positive side and negative side. Positive side, it can lead to new ideas. Negative side, it can lead to conflicts. Cultural diffusion is spread of cultural traits from one region to another. I give you example for example the American music. Also, do not forget the sushi. Sushi, it's Japanese food. Yes, Japanese food, and however I like it. I'm Egyptian, but I like it. So also it's a cultural trait that could spread from Japan to the whole world. Now we're gonna answer some questions. Underline the sentence which lists some parts of culture. Right, day-to-day life is a part of culture, including language, religion, clothes, music, and food. What are some basic cultural features that people share? Cultural features. Cultural features. Alright, like forming government, educating children. These are cultural features, guys. Creating art or music. 3 cultural features. Let's go down. Page 32. How can cultural diversity affect the people in an area? Alright, I told you. It has two signs, -1 and +1. The +1 is that it can lead to a new ideas. The -1, it can lead to a conflict. Underline the sentence that describes how cultures change. Alright, when 2 cultures come in close contact, both usually change. So when does the culture change? Right, when 2 different cultures come close together, both of them will affect on each other, and both of them will change. What are 2 ways cultural diffusion occurs? How cultural diffusion occurs? It through spread of cultural traits from part to another. It can happen when people move and bring their culture with them. So it happens when people move from a place to another. Also, I told you before, guys, the media, newspapers, and how we contact, the communication, or the new technology of communication also affects on the cultural diffusion and spreading the cultural traits around the world. Alright, let's go to page 33. The language you speak and the sports you play are examples of cultural traits or examples of only culture. So number 1 is example of culture. Alright, number 2. Cultural diversity creates, so number 1 is false, guys, it's false, and it should be only culture. Cultural diversity creates an interesting mix of ideas, but sometimes it can lead to conflict. It's true when more than one cultural group live in an area. This is called cultural diffusion. More than one cultural group, they live in one area. What is this? That's cultural diversity. When more than one group live in one area, it will make new ideas, and it can lead to conflict. So it's false. It should be cultural diversity. Then number 4, the spread of cultural traits to different parts of the world, that's cultural diffusion. So number 4 is false. It's cultural diffusion. Number 5, all aspects of your daily life are part of your culture. So number 1, the language you speak and the sports you play are example of cultural traits. Yes, this is true. Number 1 is true. Number 2 is false. It should be culture diffusion. Number 3 is false. It should be cultural diversity. Number 1 and 2 true. Number 1 true. Number 2 true. Number 3 false. It should be cultural diversity. Number 4 false. It should be cultural diffusion. And number 5, it should be only culture. Number 1 and 2 true. Number 3 false. It should be cultural diversity. Number 4 false. It should be cultural diffusion. Number 5 false. It should be only culture. Direction. Use all of the terms from the word bank. Write a summary of what you learned and the section. Please write as much as you can about it. Think about all these things we spoke about. What is the cultural diffusion? What is the cultural diversity? Cultural trait, cultural region, ethnic group. Each one of them, I told you many and many of examples for each one. So try as possible to write at least paragraph from 7 or 8 lines about each one of these things and do not forget to give examples. Thank you very much, grade 6. I hope you are fine, and we hope all to see you soon.